Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show today. I'm Amber Romaniuk,
And I'm Stephanie Keith.
and we are here today to share a really exciting opportunity we have coming up. And we want to talk a little bit about our connection, our journey together, and why, combining both of our expertise is going to be really incredible for you to be in the energy of for this upcoming workshop that we have.
I'm really excited. When you were on my podcast the last time, I got so much feedback from everybody because we don't really cover the same exact things. And I know you talk a lot about hormones, and people are like, oh my gosh, where can I find more? And I want to work with Amber. And so I just think that this is perfect to bring, both of our things together and help people out with burnout because that's really like something that is universal. And I think pretty much everybody faces at one point or another and probably faces multiple times throughout their lives in different transitions.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you. And I got such positive feedback from your episode. And I know I had some of the listeners get your subliminal app and like get into some of the things because they're really realizing how much their limiting beliefs and unworthiness are contributing to people pleasing and being last on their list, contributing to the burnout as well. And so understanding the programming, the subconscious mind, how that then impacts our frequency, and then, of course, ultimately impacts things like our hormones. Thought, hey, how can we bring all of this together and help you understand each piece and where you are with your journey of this, and what are some steps that we can assist you with to help you overcome that? Because, yeah, burnout is so common. I feel like probably, I'm going to guess, I mean, this isn't an accurate stat, but probably at least 80% of the female population, anyway, is dealing with some kind of burnout. I know 100% of my clients are. So if that's thousands, I've got to assume in the bigger picture, there's probably a lot more. So, what do
Yeah.
you have to
I
say
haven't,
about that?
I mean, I have not met a high achieving woman, a mom, a friend that hasn't experienced it.
Yeah.
But I think that we suffer in silence too.
Yeah.
Like we're taught to just wear all these masks and like act like we can do it all and everything's fine. And, it's that whole people pleasing, like, well, I don't want to burden other people. And so we just suffer in silence. And that's like the worst thing to do because you're not really getting to the bottom of this issue and this pattern. And
Yeah.
if you don't get to the pattern and break it up, it's going to keep repeating, which is exactly what happened in my life multiple times. And I'm sure a lot of people can say the same.
Yeah, and likewise, like the constant need to chase the number on the scale, the fighting with food in my body, the people pleasing, the overbooking my schedule, because I was in a lack mentality when I first started my business. I'm like, I need to meet all these people and network and get money coming in, and I need to be there whenever my client needs me, even if it's at a cost to my personal time. And I had no boundaries because I had this fear. This is only the first year of my business, but I'm like, if I'm not there for them, then they'll leave, and then I'm gonna have to go get a job. And there's just so much fear and lack that was fueling that burnout and that being overbooked and not trusting my gut if I met someone to collaborate with, and my intuition's like red flags, and I'm like, oh, but I'm going to, and then like having to deal with the consequences of not listening, right? And how much that would just add more stress. And so I think we each have our own experience, like you said, probably several times of how we have had to deal with this, and what it's really rooted in. So, should we talk about that a little bit first? Like what this is rooted in? Like, what did you find was the roots of your burnout?
Yeah. So you bring up your business, and this was when I finally connected the dots and realized this is a pattern. Like, this is something going on within me, and it's not something external necessarily because my pattern has been here my whole life. Okay. But I didn't recognize like the burnout until really like my first corporate job. And it's one of those things where we're so conditioned as a society to become workers. And so we're taught that the harder you work, the more successful you're going to be. And stress is normal. Like that, it is normal to be stressed all the time. In fact, if you're not stressed, then you're probably not doing enough. And if you rest or if you focus on something that you find pleasing or creative, then that's bad. You're not being
Hmm.
productive and you're being lazy, right? Like there's all these beliefs. And so I was the kid that always, wanted to work really hard and get good grades and do everything right. And so when I got into my first corporate job, I would meet my sales goals because I would work my butt off, right? And I vividly remember being in a sales meeting. We did these, like, they called them blitzes. And I'm in the sales meeting, and my team, we all made our goals and we were so excited. And the director looked at us and he was like, well, don't pat yourself on the back yet. Clearly, you didn't set a high enough goal. And if you can hit this goal, well, then guess what? You can hit a stretch goal. So then he gives us like a stretch goal, right? And we go out and we blitz and we hit our stretch goal and we come back and we're all excited. We're like, now what is he going to say? And he's like, oh, okay, well, let's do a super stretch goal. Like, you're not, like, he never gave us the recognition or the appreciation that we wanted. It was always like, you're not doing enough and you work so hard, but you're never going to get that, like, hey, good job. You can take a rest now. It was always like, okay, what are you going to do for me next? And that was my first experience with it. And so, on top of the stress, and the exhaustion, I was building resentment because it's like I wasn't getting any positive reinforcement or appreciation or anything. And it's like a pot of water, and you turn the heat on. And what is heat? It's a form of energy. So this heat, it's doing its thing and it's bringing the water to a boil. It's really getting things going. But then if you don't take the lid off or you don't turn the heat down, it's going to blow. Like you're
Hmm.
going to have to either vent it or turn the heat down. And in the corporate world, there was no like turning the heat down. There was no like, it was always you're going to do more. And so what would happen is I would start venting at the wrong people. It would be a fight with my husband or like just, overeating or alcohol. Like I would go home and be like, oh, I'm just going to like drink my stress away. So that pattern played out. And then I was like, you know what? This job sucks. I don't deserve this. So I went and got a better job. And a few years later, the same pattern played out.
Hmm.
Then I was like, oh, you know what? The corporate world is terrible. Like, I need to get out of here. So I left, started my own business, and I'm a solo entrepreneur. Like, it is just me. I have no boss.
Hmm.
And the same scenario played out. And so I'm like, okay, maybe it's not necessarily the job or the boss. I mean, those things definitely play into it, but maybe there's something going on with me, this pattern of being, an overachiever or just feeling like I have to go, go, go all the time. Maybe
Hmm.
that's the issue, and I need to look at that. And so that was like, I spent all these years and now finally in my 30s, I'm like, oh, okay, I finally get that there's something deeper going on that I need to work on. So hopefully by sharing that, I can kind of get someone else to stop and
Yeah.
think like, hey, maybe I can do something within me to stop it before it gets to that point where it plays out over and over again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Thank you for sharing that. And this is the thing is we think leaving the job or leaving a certain scenario will eradicate the issue until we keep attracting the same thing or creating the same environment, reality, outcome over and over again. And then what we have to realize is we got to look at why we keep attracting this and what is the pattern or the patterns, right? Is it the hustle mentality, the chasing, the success, the working harder? Is there people pleasing behind it? Is there perfection behind that? And then like for me, it was really rooted in like having lack of trust and faith and like not knowing how manifestation worked and also being addicted to kind of the stress and the adrenal high. And I've had clients say the same, right? And if you're not stressed, like you said, and if you're not exhausted and like burning the candle at both ends, like you're not, you don't fit in with the hustle crowd. And that's, we know the hustle mentality doesn't work and it's making people sick and it's like you said, you get into this resentful state, and it's the worst to resent your business, resent your career, resent people around you, because you're, burning the candle at both ends and you're not honoring and taking care of your needs. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to create what we're going to talk about at the end of the podcast today, because this is not the way forward, in my opinion. This is not new earth. This is not the way that we're going to keep doing this. It's going to change, and it starts with each of us being willing to look at it ourselves and have the courage to change it so we can have a much better reality. We can heal, have more longevity, feel better, and ultimately create more success without having to do so much more in our businesses. Because I'm sure you agree with this, it's not about working harder, it's about being in alignment.
Oh, absolutely. I think the whole working harder and taking action it has so many negative connotations to it that we don't realize because of all of our conditioning. But I think, the self-development industry has sort of become a little toxic because it's turned into this like hustle culture. And even within manifestation, it's like I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, well, you have to take action, inspired action, aligned action. You have to take action and focus so much on like the doing
Hmm.
when really we should be focusing on the being,
Yeah.
focusing on energetically where we're at. And I think that's why I bonded with you like so quickly because you had reached out. You listened to my episode where I talked about coming off of Effexor,
Hmm.
which that was a result of complete burnout. I mean, my nervous system, it was fried. Like
Hmm.
that was the only way I could think to describe to my doctor. I was like, I'm just fried. There's nothing left. Like I'm
Yeah.
so fried. I'm so done. I'm so desperate. And, that's the problem. It's like the self-development industry will tell you, okay, well, self-care, like go take a bubble bath. A
Hmm.
bubble bath is great, but it's not going to fix the root issue.
Yeah.
The medical industry will tell you, like, okay, go on a medication.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And little did I know it would be just as hard to get off of as a narcotic.
Right.
And I remember you reached out to me and you were like, you had a baby. Like your hormones were probably completely out of whack. And it was like the first time where I'm like, she gets it. Like somebody gets it. And we just sort of like bonded over that. And I really thought like if I could help someone not take that path
Hmm.
and go through the agony, the months of trying to get off this medication, then I have to talk about it. I was
Yeah.
so scared to post that episode, but I was surprised at like just how many people reached out and were like, yes, I've been on that, or, I was thinking about taking that. And hopefully I was able to give them some insight, but that's the current fix. It's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
medicate yourself
Yeah.
or do these self-care things that really are like a band-aid on the issue and aren't going to
Hmm.
fix the root cause of it.
Yeah. And I think that's why I want to talk a little bit about how these behaviors and patterns really impact us on a chemical, hormonal, physical, emotional level, because you're right. Like we can't, like the medication just shuts everything off or suppresses everything. And then once you stop it, you're going to have to deal with it all anyway. The side effects of it, how it's impacting your hormones, bunging up your liver and like slowing down your detoxification pathways. And then more toxicity builds up in the body. And what we have to understand is if we're in burnout, if our nervous systems are fried, we likely have extremely high cortisol. I can't remember if you ever got your cortisol tested, but I would just be so curious to like see your labs and like see where they're at. Because you cannot kind of like lie your way out of hormone testing. If you're in denial that you're not in burnout, like your labs will not lie. And so extremely high cortisol will make you feel exhausted. It will make you feel like you have no ability to cope. And then, of course, on the mood side, anxiety, panic attacks, if it's like really heightened, it's very uncomfortable, obviously. And then if we look at it from a body standpoint, it's easier to gain weight, especially in the abdomen, and then feel more puffy and swollen. And then that hits your confidence even more because
Mhm.
now you're like, I'm burnt out, I'm working hard, but I don't like the way that I look. And what if I don't meet my goals, my sales? Are people going to take me seriously? I don't want to show up and be seen, right? If it's in your business or your career, or like, you don't want to be intimate with your partner, you're not being as connected with them, you feel like you're afraid of being judged. Like there's so much that can come out of that. But instead of going, hey, maybe I need to see why I'm behaving this way, maybe I need to get my hormones tested and get really honest with myself, we just numb all that down with food or alcohol, and then the emotional binge eating cycle can start, or the bulimic cycle can start or be amplified, or then you're like trying to, punish with diets and overexercise, which just amplifies the burnout even more because those are stressors and punishments to the body. So they're just going to spike that cortisol stress hormone even higher. And so we have been really conditioned to go into punishment mode when we already have these imbalances because of these habits and patterns that are rooted in unworthiness and trying to fit in with this societal norm that should have never have been normalized. And then we wonder why it significantly impacts every aspect of our being, but that it's not changing, right? And so avoiding, numbing, checking out, continuing to add more to your plate, feeling safe being too busy, like these are signs that it's ideally time to start looking at why you need to always be busy, why you are avoiding slowing down and feeling, why you feel uncomfortable being still. Because here's the reality, you cannot supplement or medicate your way out of a hormone imbalance. You cannot find inner peace or regulate your nervous system if you are just numbing or thinking that, yeah, I'll just take these supplements and I'll be able to keep hustling and keep. It doesn't work like that, right? And this we're being loving, but it's the honest truth, and we really want to give you the loving reality check because we want to inspire you to be willing to make the change, but it has to start with you wanting to take a different approach to get a different outcome. And like we don't want you to get to your low point, but these pain points are there to get your attention and to show you, hey, are you willing to start listening to your body, to the experiences you're attracting that you're not happy with? Because they're trying to show you that there is a different way and a better way, but are you willing to listen and pay attention? But I think one of the biggest blocks with this that we should talk about is people don't want to get uncomfortable. They don't want to look at their stuff. They, again, band-aid it over and they, just go, it's fine. Oh, I want to make more money or whatever the reasons are. It is just the way it is. It's never going to change. But then, like, you suffer more mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically, spiritually, like on every level. And that ripples out into every area of your life. So we need to have the conversation around getting uncomfortable
Yeah.
because change is uncomfortable, but it's needed.
Yeah. And that's really a big reason why I wanted to do this podcast episode because I know this was the case with me, and I feel like it's the case with a lot of women, especially where, we're our own worst critic and we will beat ourselves up. And instead of looking at, like, for example, when you brought up the cortisol when we first connected, I was like a deer in headlights. I'm like, what do you mean? My hormone panel? Never at one point in that whole journey when I was like begging and pleading with the doctors to figure out why I was uncontrollably gaining weight, never once did they order a hormone panel and check my cortisol. Not once. And so what happened was I was beating myself up. Like,
Hmm.
what is wrong with me? And why can't I get this under control? And, we just beat ourselves up and think we're not good enough, we're doing something wrong. And again, that programming kicks in like, well, I just need to do more. And that's what I would do. I just need to work out more. I was working out 7 days a week, hardcore, and still gaining weight uncontrollably, desperately exhausted, but would not allow myself to rest. And that's another thing. It's like this belief that it's selfish to prioritize my own needs.
Hmm.
And I think as a mom, I it's like hardwired in me. I have to take care of my kids. Like I don't have time to be resting or nourishing myself. Like I'm on the go. And especially right now with like the school year starting and all
Yeah.
these activities and things, there's so much on our plates. And we put it all on ourselves,
Hmm.
all on our shoulders. And then when things start to fall apart, we blame ourselves. And
Yeah.
I think that's the real reason I wanted to do this episode is like, okay, we got to stop blaming ourselves and
Hmm.
stop thinking that if I just push myself a little harder and I just do a little bit more, it'll be okay. Like that's the exact opposite
Yeah.
of what you need to do. And none of it is your fault. It's you're not to blame. It's the way you've been conditioned and it's
Yeah.
taking a toll. And if anyone questions that, just look at the stats. I mean,
Yeah.
how many people are on anti-anxiety medication, antidepressants, having heart conditions,
Hmm.
gaining weight uncontrollably? It's like this is taking a toll on our physical health. And then on top of that, forget about manifesting. And that's the other part that I want to talk about. And you touched on is I get so many clients, like they'll come in and it's like, just tell me what I need to do. What do I need to do? Okay, what journal prompt do I need? What do I need to, what
Hmm.
action should I take? And we're so in this state of overwhelm and we've normalized stress so much that we think we have to be that way to manifest. And that is the last thing you want to do because then you're manifesting from a place of complete chaos
Yeah.
and it doesn't end well.
No.
And so we have to get that under control and manifest from a place of stability and peace and,
Yeah.
security. And we're just so far from that as a society. So it's like we got to take a big step back and look at what's going on and what's causing all of that and how we can fix it. And I think that's really where the two of us are just like, oh my gosh, why isn't anyone else talking about this? Like
Yeah.
we need to get to these root causes and like fix them.
Yeah, 100%. And from my standpoint, I agree with everything you've just said. And if you're binge eating and emotionally eating and over exercising and not eating enough and you're in that self-criticism and this the shame spiral and the weight spiral and all of that, you have to understand how this impacts your energy field and your frequency when you hurt, and it's no shame, like I did it too, but it's to start to be lovingly honest. When you self sabotage with food or alcohol or whatever it is, you are hurting your body. And when you are hurting yourself, you are compromising your energy field. You are dropping your frequency, so it's easier for you to be in a heavier energetic state, feeling shame, guilt, hatred, anger, frustration, loathing, jealousy, comparison, etc. And when you're in that state, you're not necessarily going to be in an energetic match to attract what you want. I was attracting men with drinking issues that were emotionally unavailable when I was in that state. I was attracting friends who had, other compulsive issues that didn't want to take ownership. Parking tickets, like just things were like it was draining my money, right? And so I'd become heightenedly aware of when I'm in these behaviors, not only is this impacting my mental, physical, emotional health, it is literally impacting the boomerang of what's like going out into the universe and then what is coming back to me. And when I started my business and I was healing burnout, I could see the pattern of pushing too hard and starting to get burnt out, and the client inquiries and collaborations would slow down, the abundance would slow down. I would attract a weird, like, misaligned person and be like, how did I attract that? And they'd be like, oh, look at the pattern, right? And so I started to really see when I'm relaxed and I'm open to receive and I'm in trust, it comes so much more easily. But if I'm in the opposite, I'm repelling and then inviting in the things that I don't want. And so part of this is about we've got to sort through the mud of the stuff that is keeping us in the mud so that we can actually become clear of what it feels like when I'm in actually a great state to manifest what I want. And actually is a lot easier than you would think, but you got to deal with the stuff that is keeping you in the burnout, keeping your frequency low, compromising your energy field. And this is the work. But we have to normalize having the conversation about doing the healing, getting uncomfortable, because it is truly the way. And we can use things like doing our hormone tests and supplementation and good nutrition. We can add in self care tools to help support us to be grounded or explore our emotions. But we have to be willing to understand our patterns and beliefs so that we can actually start being able to catch them in the moments and then go to something that is going to be more beneficial. So, it's just to see like we've both had our own experiences, Stephanie and I, of all of this, and we're human too, and we get it. And it's going to take time to shift, and that's okay. But that's why we, wanted to come together and start planting these seeds for you. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. but there's so much more of your own power for you to access when you learn about your body. You learn about your thoughts and your subconscious programming. You learn about your patterns, whatever it is that's going on. And then you have a choice. You get to stay, right, in it and get to the point where you unfortunately maybe have to hit a low point moment, which we don't want at all. Or you get to go, you know what? I'm going to just take one little step today. One step, not a million. It's not going to help. One little
Right.
step.
It's so funny because as you're saying that, it's just, I'm looking back and I'm like, okay, for everyone listening, don't do what I did. Because to be perfectly honest, when I used to hear people talking about like tune into your body and like nervous system regulation and things like that, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds great. I don't have time for that. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
am a go-getter. I am an action taker. Like, I don't have time for yoga and meditation. Like, that's literally what would go through my mind.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, I don't need it. I don't have time for that. Like, it's not important. And so, of course, I learned the very hard way where I just completely, like I said, my nervous system was totally fried. And then it was like, oh, okay. So I guess what people were talking about, like when they say nervous system regulation, was I should take that more seriously. Um, and it's just so true because, like our default state is supposed to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
just is. Like, look at nature. It's
Yes.
supposed to feel calm and peaceful, but we are so conditioned to be in this constant state of like fight or flight
Mm-hmm.
and just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks that we've completely forgotten what that even feels like.
Yeah.
And it seems so elusive, but it's like it's there already. You just have to shift some things to get back into that default state. Let's just revert back to
Yeah.
like our factory settings for a little bit and it feels good. It feels aligned. And that
Yeah.
was a big realization for me. And that's when I started like taking these things a lot seriously because I'm like, I don't ever want to have to go through that feeling again of having to medicate myself in order to just function in life.
Yeah, no, well said. And you're right. The cool thing about it all and the exciting thing that you all get to look forward to is as make these mindful little changes and take these little steps, it accumulates. And then you start to feel more familiar and comfortable with a regulated nervous system, with prioritizing your needs, setting boundaries, not feeling guilty, making yourself a priority, saying no, taking your evenings or taking your weekends or whatever your schedule, right? You want to reshift it to. And then it's like, wow, you know what feels really comfortable and familiar? Being calm, being able to cope, feeling in my power, feeling confident in that no matter what comes my way, I can get through it. Having more energy, better mental clarity, feeling safe in your body, not going to food, like that becomes the norm. And then when you have a test come up and you're like, you want to spiral, it's like, it's too, I don't know. I'm not going to throw myself under the bus. I'm not willing to do that anymore. And that is such a profound moment when you realize all these little steps and changes that you've started to make, that you are now back to that, like you said, that default state. You're going to have ups and downs. We're here to experience a wide array of emotions. We live on a dualistic planet, but you're right. Our natural state of being is calm, peace, grounded, love, joy, happiness. And we all deserve to feel that a lot more.
Yeah.
However, we got to do that mindset work. We've got to be willing to, work through it. But it's all within you. Like Stephanie just said, it's just we have to replug the cord in.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I want people to know that you can still manifest like wild success
Yeah.
and money and promotions and like anything else you want. Like you can still manifest that, but you can manifest it in a way where it flows and it's
Yeah.
not forced and it feels good. And that was like the disconnect because I thought like, well, I don't want to step away from that. I don't want to take my foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
No, like you can and you can flow with the current instead of swimming against
Yeah.
it. And that's really, breaking apart these patterns so that you can manifest even more success because you're working energetically like with yourself, with the universe, instead of forcing everything.
Hmm.
And it completely changes the game from a manifestation standpoint. And I think you just tackle everything, so much from a nervous system standpoint that you start to feel good again and you start to manifest in a completely different way that feels really easy and really fun.
Yeah, and that's our goal here is to bring this in and help you understand some of these roots so that you can start taking small steps to make these changes because everyone deserves this. And it starts with you making one choice to do something a little different and then go on a journey. So, why don't we talk a little bit about what we want to invite everyone to come and join us for in a few weeks because we have created something for you all.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a live workshop, which for me, that is a really big deal. I don't ever do live workshops or anything other than inside of my mastermind. So this is a great opportunity to get in front of me. We're going to have some time to ask questions and things like that. But really, like that is my goal with the workshop is to get to the underlying issues and fix those so that the pattern doesn't keep repeating. And as a result, you get into that state of ease and flow so
Yeah.
that you can manifest whatever it is you want to manifest without that feeling of hard work.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm gonna flow into like building these awarenesses around dysregulated nervous system, how this creates hormone imbalances. What are some of the key signs and symptoms of those hormone issues? How does this then fuel into perfection, people pleasing, or emotional eating behaviors that then hits at your weight and your body image and your self-worth? And if we start again picking a couple of key little things to start working on and shifting, which will give you all kinds of insights and recommendations and some free gifts to start supporting you on your journey. It's going to help you on that path. The chat will be open for people that come live to ask questions. We'll be interacting with everybody. And then, of course, you will get access to the replay if you can't make it. So that's Thursday, September 18th at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's 33 USD. And of course, after you sign up, you will receive the Zoom link where we will be hosting you. And we got to share the name because I love it. The Burnout Blueprint Workshop, Rewire Your Subconscious, Regulate Your Nervous System, and Reclaim Your Flow. Like, I just love that.
Yeah,
So
it's
good.
so neat. Every single person needs this,
Yes.
really. I mean, this is happening. Burnout is not something that just a few people experience. This is happening with everyone. And I think to be able to get in front of you, Amber, too, is huge. I don't know
Hmm.
where everyone lives, but I know here where I live, getting into anyone that can help from like a hormone standpoint, there is a wait list and it's not easy because so many people need it. And so this is a
Yeah,
great opportunity to get some of your amazing expertise. And like I said, you helped me tremendously. I'm so glad
I'm
we
glad.
connected. And so now I just want to share you with everybody I know.
Yeah, and likewise, you've given me such a good temperature read on like, how much am I being? Because my old pattern was the doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I've
Hmm.
really had to shift that over the last 10 years. But when I met you, it was just like this big check in of like, I think I can go deeper with that. And where
Hmm.
do I need to challenge the part of me that's like, but no, and it's like, no, like let's fully dissolve that. And the reaffirming about the subliminals and the subconscious programming and how much of a role that plays. So we have a lot to share with you. And we have a lot that we want to give you insight into that's going to just help inspire and motivate you to want to get on that different path. So make sure that you come and join us. The link will be in the show notes to come and sign up for the episode as well. It will be on like our Instagram. I'll have it in my link tree at Amber Romaniak. And of course, if you're like, I need it and I can't find it, which it'll be everywhere, you can just email us. Mine is info@amberapproved.ca.
Mine is hi at the lawofattractiontribe.com.
Yeah, so you'll be able to easily access the link, 33 USD. It's a steal of a deal for the hour. And like I said, you'll get the recording. Whether or not you come live, it will be emailed to you afterward. Is there anything else you want to share about the workshop or any other nuggets of wisdom before we wrap up this episode?
Not that I can think of, but this is the only live call that I'll be doing this year. I mean, I never do live calls, so don't miss it. And I really hope to see everyone there and connect a little bit deeper.
Yeah, and I can't wait to connect to you and to co-create with you. And I feel so honored that you were willing to do a live workshop with me. So if you want to come get in both of our energy, make sure you come and join us. It's going to be so worth it. Share with all of your friends. This is so needed and it's going to be action packed and you're going to take so much away. So thank you, Stephanie, for joining me. And I'm super excited for everyone to come and join us and to see who shows up.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. I can't wait.
All right, everyone. Well, be sure to come and join us. Like I said, the link is available in the show notes as well as on our Instagrams. You can email us, and we will see you on the 18th for the workshop.
See you there.